AITA for ruining my child's gender reveal? Info: is there a reason you didn't, oh I don't know, have a conversation with your wife and just tell her you didn't want to do this again? Esh. Her for wanting to spend 4K on a gender reveal and you for spilling the news ahead of time. Calm communication would have been a much better route to take. Esh. $4,000 could have gone into a saving account for the kid's future, instead she wants to make a video announcing what genitals the baby has. That's ridiculous, but communicating is kinda super important in relationships. Info: did you make any attempt to talk to her about your misgivings beforehand? Esh, there's so much to unpack here, but you two should probably be doing that in therapy, not to internet strangers. The communication here sucks, as many people have pointed out. Esh, there has got to be some middle ground between a 4K Oscar short and a Facebook message that would have made both of you happy. I think Esh. Yes, that's super excessive and expensive, and of course you didn't have to go along with it. But this is clearly important to her, and I see no reason you couldn't have still done something special for the gender reveal, even just a mini at-home 30-second movie. You didn't really give her a choice to tone it down by the sounds of it, there was absolutely no compromise. YTA. It would have been Esh if she had doubled down and insisted on spending the money, but it looks like you didn't even bother talking to her about it. Info: did you even tell her how you feel? Or did you ruin the surprise so you didn't have to have a grown-up conversation and decided to be a coward? YTA. You made a unilateral choice about something that should have been a joint decision, all because you didn't want to be inconvenienced by your wife's joy. NTA, maybe not a popular opinion, but $4,000 is ridiculous, and so are gender reveals in general. YTA. Not for how you feel about your wife's way over-the-top plans, but for making a unilateral decision about big family news without even talking it over with her first. Surely you two could have come to a compromise about this that didn't cost so much money and time, but still would have allowed her to express her creativity. YTA. Marriage is about compromise. You didn't attempt that, and you took a special moment for your family away from her. How are people saying no? Ta. Do I think gender reveals are dumb, especially when they cost $4,000 and are a 10-minute long dramatic video? Yes, I do, but I'm 19 years old and unmarried and no better communication skills than you. You should have talked to your wife, explained your point, and compromised on something else. If she didn't budge, then it would be a different problem. Instead, you took all the joy from her hobby, and part of the excitement of this pregnancy from her without a second thought. Do you care about your wife's happiness? Edit: YTA. Info: how much do you spend on hobby projects each year? Everyone who is saying that you're not mean in this scenario is doing so solely based on the price tag. YTABC, this is something that obviously means a lot to your wife, that she gets a lot of joy from. You knew before you posted that you would be taking that away from her, and did so specifically because you think what she enjoys is dumb. If it was solely the price tag, then you would have highlighted that detail a lot more, but I am willing to guess from how nonchalant you were about it that you guys can afford it just fine and you just don't approve of the money spent that way. That it is not even a little of a financial strain. That it more just annoys you that your wife is so into when you're not. YTA. Info: do you have combined finances? Was that just her money she was spending on this, or both of yours? I think it's a ridiculous thing to waste that money on, but if it makes her happy and it's her own money, then probably not the right hill to die on for you. If it's joint money, then total waste, not okay without you being on board. Info: before this, did you ever actually talk to your wife about not wanting to spend all of that money and time? YTA. Did you ever talk to her about not wanting to do it? You don't get to unilaterally decide something is stupid and ruin it. Communication is key to a healthy relationship. Perhaps the unpopular opinion, but I think YTA. A mature adult, and especially a good partner, would have had a discussion first. Something that felt important to her but frivolous to you could have been compromised on, but wasn't. YTA. Not for not wanting to spend that much on a gender reveal, because I agree that it is over the top. But YTA for how you handled it. You could have just talked to her and told her you didn't want to do another film and then found a way to announce it's a boy that you were both happy with. YTA for not talking to her about how you didn't like the idea or how you thought it was too expensive. Kinda weird that you just unilaterally made the decision that you weren't gonna do a gender reveal without trying to at least reach some type of compromise. Esh. You suck because you ruined something she was excited for. She sucks because nobody wants to watch that gender reveal movie. Just talk to her OMG. YTA. YTA. I understand that you are unhappy with the money and time invested in this. But it looks like your wife really enjoyed doing this and you just sabotaged her and stole her thunder. You should have at least talked to her about this before ruining it for her. YTA for not discussing this with your wife before posting on FB. YTA. Has nobody in these comments ever heard of a hobby before? YTA. Honestly, maybe you could just tell your wife instead of ruining it for her. Try talking with her. Info who was paying for the photo shoot. YTA, rather than talking and having a conversation like adults, you just decided to ruin something your wife, and someone you promised to help for life, was excited about. Yes, the party was pricey. Perhaps set a budget. Like 100, with a small gather on Zoom over the weekend. Send cards to have everyone meet online, and solve a puzzle. Like so many options, and you went for the reveal, nuclear. Conclusion: communicate with your wife and don't make unilateral decisions that can't be undone with intent, cause the next time it happens, she'll never believe it was an accident. Esh. Try direct communication instead of passive-aggressive posts. 4K is friggin' ridiculous though for a gender reveal. Esh. Y'all need to communicate. YTA you could have said no to the short film but still had a cheaper gender reveal. It most likely wasn't all or nothing. Posting on Facebook was an asshole move without even talking about it. Did you even tell her about your feelings on the whole thing? YTA. You should at least have talked to your wife about it and let her be involved in the gender reveal. You may think that the short movie is a waste of money and time, but you didn't have the right make the reveal without her knowledge. YTA and it's not even close emo. Everyone is saying ESH because they're interpreting this as a conflict between your wife wanting a 4K gender reveal and you subverting that to save money. In that situation, your wife is being unreasonable and you did a shitty thing to shut her down. Everyone sucks. But that's not really what happened, right? Unless there's a lot missing from your post, it seems like your wife isn't demanding anything. She never resisted the idea of spending less time or money on this project or limiting your involvement so you're less exhausted. She didn't have a chance to because you never expressed your misgivings to her. You went behind her back to ruin something that you knew was important to her without giving her the basic respect of a conversation, a compromise. She didn't even get to be involved, at all. I'd be devastated. Regardless of whether the internet thinks spending that kind of money on a gender reveal in the first place is reasonable, that's a huge betrayal. YTA. Why is everyone saying esh? How is the wife an asshole for doing something she thought was enjoyable? Everyone here saying es really makes me depressed about this website and the kind of people on it. NTA. You might think you saved 4K, but props you just got yourself one more kid, and your wife will go all out on that reveal. Karma might bring you twins. Haha. Nah, just joking. On a serious note though, you could have probably been mature and spoken to her about it, instead of doing it in an infuriating way for your baby mama. NTA. I feel bad that you have to go through this. I am married to a person who likes to spend on extravagances that last only a moment. It's exhausting. I feel like I am always chasing after them or trying to talk them out of spending so much money on something that doesn't move us forward to paying off a house, a vehicle, or in general, paying off loans. Edit. I have been made to feel bad about this, trying to make money go where it should, like you're no fun, you don't enjoy yourself. I have tried to let go, some. I have. And finally my spouse is slowing down and realizing he doesn't have an infinite amount of life to pay off loans. NTA. 4K is ridiculous. I think though you could have talked to her and found a compromise instead of posting on Facebook, but whatever. You do you. Also, gender reveals are stupid. And they can be incorrect. Like my parents had a gender reveal party, and made a big deal of having a girl, and all that shit, which made it that much harder for me to come out as non-binary because they made such a big deal of my gender when I was younger. Enta $4,000 is a delusionally stupid amount of money to spend on a gender reveal most people won't give a crap about. You saved yourself some money and your friends and family a lot of their time. NTA. Gender reveals are pretty silly and unnecessary, but especially considering she wants to spend $4,000 making a 10-minute long video about it. Seems like she doesn't really care about your opinion on the matter. NTA. Money, time, energy that you aren't up to expending again. You're my hero. NTA. But how on earth does she plan on filming this thing when the entire country is in lockdown and everyone is being told to stay at home for God knows how long? It could end up turning into a crime drama when the police ask her if she really should be out and about. NTA. But your wife kind of is. Does she know she has a baby on the way and babies are expensive? NTA. I was confused at first, thinking she was telling everyone you were expecting a girl instead of a boy, and that's why you let the surprise slip. But yeah, saving 4K is a legitimate reason for spoiling this, and if asked, you should play it off as you were so excited instead of your idea is exhausting and expensive. Continue to encourage her to make other scripts for movies that do not star you and which are in budget for a hobby. EDA, I'm pretty sure no one watched the full 10 minutes of the last one. NTA, I don't hate gender reveals but people need to stop trying to outdo everyone. If I ever did one, I'd be quite content with a family barbecue and one of the balloons or cakes where the color is inside. NTA. LMAO. Awesome, gender reveals are dumb. NTA. But my god, the ability to spend 4K on a gender reveal annoys the crap out of me. BTW. You're not having a gender reveal party, you're having a baby genitalia reveal party. Sex and gender are not the same. NTA. I am probably gonna get downvoted but gender reveals are toxic and stupid, so good job on not wasting even more money on that. NTA. So many better things to spend that 4K on. Like baby stuff. NTA. The only people who give two shits about a baby's gender are its parents. The immediate family and/or extended family will likely love that baby regardless of gender, and hopefully the parents would too. I wish people would get over this nonsense of gender reveal. BC. It is irrelevant, at least it should be, and just stick to good old-fashioned baby showers. NTA. A kid costs a lot of money. That money is much better spent on diapers, food and toys. Gender reveals are a ridiculous concept. And spending 4K in a time when you could definitely do better baby-centric things with that cash is equally as stupid. NTA. Not even a little bit. NTA, you did it once, you tried, shit happens. YTA. Talk to your wife? Maybe get her to spend less money on the film? Convince her to do found footage, man. YTA. If you think that 4K is too much to spend, then you need to communicate that. Use your words like an adult, don't just snatch away something from your wife that she clearly values and enjoys doing without so much as a conversation. It doesn't matter that most of Reddit hates gender reveals and thinks that 4K is a lot of money. What matters is how much your wife enjoys them and how impactful that 4K would be on your standard of living. She's your partner, start treating her like it. YTA. Since you decided to share the news without her, okay. That was a betrayal and cowardly. You should have negotiated with her to figure out a way to reveal it together without spending as much money as she initially wanted to. Making universal decisions is how you end up single and co-parenting instead of raising your children together as a family. Communication is key, OP, but if there is an update, let us know soon. YTA. None of us have to like or agree with gender reveals, but you should have talked to her first and explained that this isn't something you want to do. Instead, you acted on your own, knowing it would upset her. You took away something that's special and important to her. Even if you don't see the point, it's special to her, and she'll never get that back. FYI, we all know these parties are about announcing the pregnancy, and revealing the sex of the baby. They are called gender reveal parties, because baby sex party just doesn't sound right. Sounds a lot like your partner really likes making films and the attention people offer related to finding out the kid's sex is the excuse she needs. If her hobby is causing you so much stress or you can't afford the cost of indulging that, then you are well within your right to say no to that. You are also less able to indulge this kind of thing this time round as you've got the 2-year-old to care for too, and there is a pandemic going on that's making everything more difficult. But you didn't communicate your concerns and tell her she was getting carried away and being unreasonable. Instead of communicating with your partner and potentially finding a workable compromise, you took things into your own hands and spoiled the result in order to force her to do as you've decided. That isn't an acceptable thing to do, at least not until you've exhausted all the other options. I think YTA. You could have just talked to her, and 4K is a lot, as the others have said, but more importantly you said she could just have chosen a different topic, so you're okay with the 4K in general, and this seems to be a general hobby for her, you just don't want to be stressed. Understandable, just tell her you don't want to participate, but if she is into doing videos in general, I can totally understand she would choose her baby in some way as a topic, even though gender is bullshit but not the point, especially if she did it for her other child as well. She put a lot of work into it, so maybe your children will watch it in the future, and what will your son ask? Why didn't you make a happy video for me? Mom wanted to but daddy was bored from the first one, sorry NR. YTA. Although 4K is such a hefty price and I agree that that is unnecessary, this should have been a conversation with your wife. You should have discussed it with her first and explained how you felt about it, but instead you took away an important part of pregnancy for her. You both just seem to plow ahead with what you want with no concern for the fact that this isn't just about one of you. YTA for just taking over, making a unilateral decision about some of the biggest family news you can have, and giving her no choice at all in how it was announced. There was a ton of room for compromise between having a professional short film announcement and a quick Facebook post. YTA. Her first video was way over the top and expensive, yes. That's why you have a mature conversation about her how we can't do it again. You don't just unilaterally make the gender announcement yourself. YTA for not being a damn adult and talking your wife about not wanting to spend that kind of money. Also, what is the point of making this post if you don't feel bad? YTA Instead of talking to your wife and finding a solution that actually works for both of you, which can totally include we aren't spending thousands on this non-negotiable, you just went over her head and ruined all her fun. Learn to communicate better than a toddler.